To anyone reading this, warn those who might share the same fate as my brother and me. My name is Aiko, and 3 months ago my younger brother, Haruki, went missing. All they found was his backpack, lying next to an old abandoned house. The police ruled it a suicide, even though his body was never found. But I knew him too well to believe that. Despite the tragedies and the hard life we had, he was someone who overflowed with life, someone who brought light and happiness into this world. I know this isn't just denial, and I'm not trying to justify anything. I just know that something, or someone, took my little brother. I was sitting in my brother's room, unable to accept that he was gone, unable to accept that I hadn't noticed anything strange, that I hadn't been paying enough attention to him lately. I was too busy with work, and he was doing so well in school. I thought he didn't need me hovering. While going through his backpack, I found a strange notebook. It didn't look like something meant for school. When I opened it, I saw page after page filled with strange symbols, marks that didn't belong to any Japanese alphabet I knew. Among the indecipherable signs, one page stood out. It was labeled Akai masuku, the red mask. He wrote that he had seen her, a woman in a red kimono, with a white mask on her face. He said he saw her many times, watching from a distance, sometimes from a mirror. For a moment I thought it might be some school project, or maybe a new obsession of his. But then, as I looked at my reflection in the mirror in his room, I knew what I had to do. I had to go to that house, the one they said didn't hold anything, the place where he was last seen. The road to that place was long, so I decided to spend the night in a small old motel on the edge of the forest, which I reached late in the evening. As I lay in bed, trying to fall asleep, my mind swirled with thoughts. What do these symbols mean? What does the mask represent? How is all of this connected to my brother? Our parents died in a car accident, and since then, I had taken care of my younger brother. I only had him, and he only had me. I can't imagine a world without him, and I can't accept the idea that something might have happened to him. As I stared lifelessly at the ceiling, I noticed a strange symbol, faintly etched above me. Something about it felt familiar, but I couldn't place where I had seen it before. Suddenly it hit me. I opened my brother's notebook. It was full of symbols just like this one. As I tried to decipher their meaning, I had the feeling I was being watched. My window faced the road, and across it, among the trees, stood the silhouette of a woman. She wore a red kimono and a white mask, covered in the same symbols I had just seen in the notebook. She stood there like a shadow, as if she was feeding off my pain, watching me suffer. I wasn't thinking clearly. I wasn't thinking about my safety. None of it mattered anymore. I walked out of the room, determined to confront her. But when I opened the front door of the motel, there was no one there, and I was left with even more questions spinning in my head. Knowing I wouldn't sleep that night, I gathered my things and left, headed for the place where it all began. In the middle of the night, after a journey filled with anger and grief, I arrived at the old house where Haruki was last seen. The door was slightly open, as if someone had been waiting for me. I didn't hesitate for a second. I stepped inside. The air was heavy, and the silence felt almost tangible. As I walked through the decaying hallways, the floorboards creaked beneath my feet. Strange symbols, now so familiar, covered the walls. One caught my attention. It was written in our language. Minashigo, orphan. Did it mean that this spirit chooses orphans as its victims? And in that very moment, as the words sank in, that I too am an orphan, the door behind me slammed shut with a violent bang. For the first time, I felt what Haruki must have felt, standing here, in this same place, terrified for his life, not knowing what would happen next. But the thought of my brother gave me strength, and though I didn't know how this would end, I knew there was no turning back. I ventured deeper into the house. Eventually, I reached a room, strangely untouched by the markings that covered the rest of the house. Its door stood plain, as if hiding something more terrible than symbols could show. I opened it. What I saw, I'll never forget. The walls were covered with masks, red, white, gold. They hung from the ceiling, scattered across the floor. The spirit. She could have been in that room with me, hidden among them, and I would never have known. In the corner stood a large antique mirror. Its surface was dusted, slightly cloudy. I walked toward it, and when I looked into it, I saw something that froze my blood. Behind me stood the same figure Haruki had described. The red kimono, the white mask covered in symbols. I spun around, but no one was there. Disoriented, I tried to see where she might be hiding, lost in the forest of masks. Then I looked into the mirror again. This time, she was still there, staring at me, and I was staring back. I screamed, "Where is my brother? Give me back my little brother." I started hitting the mirror. I pounded on the mirror until my hands ached and bled, while she stood motionless, as if I didn't exist. She watched my every move, silent and unbothered. And when I finally broke down and whispered, "Please," her white mask slowly fell, and underneath was a face. My face, with lips sewn shut by black thread. And the voice I heard, it didn't belong to her. It didn't belong to me. It was Haruki's. "You shouldn't have come here." I woke up at dawn, in front of the house, with blood on my hands and my brother's notebook, now empty. The fact that I was still alive didn't stir any strong emotions in me. I just sat there, on the road, lost in thought, trying to make sense of what had happened. I decided to return to normal life. But that's not easy when you're carrying something like this inside. Sometimes when I look in the mirror, I still see her, standing behind me. And the worst part is that when I try to remember my brother's voice, I don't hear it the way I should. I only hear it from that night. I know I'm not ready yet, not ready to face it, to face the unknown. But one thing I do know, I will find my brother. Not today, not tomorrow, but one day. And when that day comes, this nightmare will end.